Today, I'm going to answer a few questions for you. Scott Murray's high volume recipe book. Is it any good? Is it worth the €50 price tag? If this book had a fight with Greg Doucette's Anabolic Cookbook and Remington James's cookbook, who would win? As you can see, all of the important questions are going on in this video. So let's get into it. But first, take 2 seconds to subscribe to my YouTube channel, ashmaypt, and also give this video a thumbs up whilst you're at it. So first things first, what should you expect from this recipe book? I obviously own the recipe book, and over the last few weeks I've been trying out a bunch of different recipes to really get a good opinion on the book before making this video. I've also done a full day of eating from the recipe book, which featured the man himself. So if you haven't watched that, make sure to check that out. That'll be linked in the description and it will be up here in the cards. Now, if you're interested in this recipe book, then you already probably know who Scott Murray is, and you're probably expecting some pretty big portion sizes. The man likes to eat big. He's a man after my own heart. It's not uncommon to see him eating out of bowls the size of his head, if not larger than that, and you can expect that from this recipe book as well. So from this book, you should definitely expect large, creative meals that are extremely satisfying and low calorie. There are multiple different sections: breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, ice cream, snacks, sides. It's got it all. And all of those individual options have a huge amount of options and variety within them. There's over 200 recipes throughout the book, so there is literally bound to be a good amount of recipes for everybody in there, and it's also really easy to steer clear of ingredients that you find hard to find where you live, because there's so many other options instead. And I know I've already said that there are extremely high volume, low calorie options in this book which are amazing for cutting, and that's certainly true, but that's not to say there aren't very moderately sized, moderately volume meals in here. And there's also meals that are literally made for bulking, like nutty bulking bars. So this book has it all, whether your goal is cutting, maintaining, gaining, whatever it may be. Another nice addition that you might want to be aware of is that literally all 200 odd of the recipes have scannable barcodes that you can scan right into MyFitnessPal, and that is a nice little addition. So what do I personally think is good and what stands out most about this book? Number one has to be variety. Scott says that he's Irish, and he sounds like he's Irish as well. But after looking through this recipe book, I'm pretty sure he has no true place of birth, because the man can do it all. Italian, Asian, American, British, Indian, Greek, you name it, it's in the book. The sheer amount of variety genuinely took me aback when I first saw it, and it is a lot more than I was expecting, and it's also a lot more than you see from his YouTube channel. Paired with a huge amount of variety is a huge amount of creativity. You see a lot of people around here who learn 1 or 2 things about volume eating, and they suddenly think that they know it all. But honestly, I like to think I'm somebody who's quite proficient in the ways of volume eating, and I still learn a ton of stuff through going through this book. There was loads of creative uses of things that I've never even thought about. Mad creativity. And lastly, a big thing that stood out to me is how easily accessible most of the ingredients are. They're super common and easy to get hold of. The biggest issue that most people have with recipes from the likes of Greg Doucette and Remington James is that they use things which are either exclusive to America or exclusive to Canada, or if you were to order them in and you live in the UK, for example, it's going to cost you a literal arm and a leg just for the shipping, let alone the product itself. Whereas everything in his book, pretty much, you can get down your local store. Ideal. Next up, what needs to be improved about Scott Murray's high volume recipe book? It is time to start some beef. I'm joking. Honestly, the only thing I can think of to be improved about this book is that the layout of the table of contents is a little bit confusing. However, that could be, and most likely is, me being a little bit simple. It happens sometimes, or a lot. And anyway, once you're past the contents, the layout of everything else is spot on. You've got 1 or 2 pages per recipe, the ingredients are all nicely laid out, the steps are all nicely laid out, you've got pictures for everything, can't complain. So it's really not a big deal. Okay, time to start some beef, round 2. How does it compare to Greg Doucette's and Remington James's? This one's a biggie. Now, I don't really like the whole comparing this to this to this kind of thing, because to be honest, that's not what it's all about. But as somebody that's owned both of Greg's books and Remington James's book, it's pretty much impossible for me not to compare them. And I know that you guys are going to be thinking it as well, so why don't we just address the question rather than ignoring it? Scott's book is the cheapest by far. It's half the price of Remington's and a quarter the prices of Greg Doucette's. But if you were just given these books and you didn't know the prices, you'd have no idea that Scott's was so cheap compared to the others. It definitely holds its own. Honestly, I'd say that the actual quality of Scott's book, the content, the layout, all of that kind of stuff, is better than both Remington's and Greg's. You can tell he put a ton of time in it, and the designer put a lot of time into it as well. And another thing is that if you live outside of the US, Scott's book is just going to have more for you. It's simple as that. I live in the UK, and pretty much every ingredient that Remington James or Greg Doucette uses, I have to order online, or it's really expensive in my local shop, or it's only in America, something like that. Whereas everything in Scott's book you can find just down the road, and it's going to have more for you. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say, because I'm really not trying to start any beef. I've loved all of the books, but in a fight, I've got Scott's side. Now, final question, a recipe book that costs 50 euros. Is it worth it? Honestly, only you can answer this for yourself, because value is different to everybody. But think of it this way, whether you like it or not, whether you realise it or not, food is an essential part of your day, every day, for everybody. It is also the main driver of if you feel good, look good, have energy, and making progress towards your goals. So for something that is responsible for so much and is such a big part of your life, you want it to be as easy and enjoyable as possible. And if it's going to cost you 50 euros to have a lifetime of easier, more enjoyable eating every single day, multiple times a day for the rest of your life, don't you think that's worth it? Over 200 recipes is more than anybody needs for a lifetime of eating. And if they're going to get you towards your goals happier, healthier, and easier, I can't see why it wouldn't be worth it. But that is all for today, guys. A brief outline of what you can expect from Scott Murray's high volume recipe book. The good bits, the bad bits, how it compares to Remington James's, how it compares to Greg Doucette's, and if it's worth the price tag. Just because I've done a video that featured Scott, it does not mean I'm biased. I promise you, if I didn't like anything about it, I would tell you, I would tell him. He's not holding me hostage, he's not in the corner of the room with a gun. If I didn't like it, I would tell you. So go and show the man some support. His channel will be linked in the description box below. Make sure to subscribe to him and check out the book if you've been interested in it. If you have any more questions about it, drop them in the comment section and I'll get right back to you and answer as honestly as I can. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, ashmaypt. We have new videos coming out every Tuesday and every Friday. They're gonna be good, so don't miss them. Join the team. Thank you for watching, give the video a thumbs up, and until the next one, see you later, guys.